morning, students. So today onwards we will revise the chapters which we have completed. So in the first chapter, real numbers is very important. First, if you you have to open the textbook while I am saying the lesson or while you are viewing the lesson. So in page number 4, do this is the, in that he is asking find HCF of the following by using Euclid's algorithm. By using Euclid's algorithm, you have to find HCF. So already you know about it. How to do it is, if you have 50 and 70, 50 is there, 70 is there, you have to find HCF by using Euclid's algorithm. What is Euclid's algorithm? We'll see it. So if I am taking any number, if I divide with any other number, so you are getting same numbers here. We'll see some different numbers. So here different numbers you got it. This 14 is called a dividend, and this 3 is called a divisor. This 2 is called remainder, and this 4 is called quotient. So you know what they are. This Euclid's division algorithm is nothing but already which you learnt already in 4th, 5th classes. You learnt this one, that is the rule is division algorithm is nothing but 14 is equals to 3 into 4 plus 2. So dividend is equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder. This is called division algorithm. By using Euclid's division algorithm is renamed as Euclid's division lemma. So always this remainder should be smaller than the divisor. So this 2 is smaller or lesser than 3. Always you have to see that remainder must be lesser than the divisor. Now 50 and 70 is there. So in this 2, which is biggest one? 70. 70 is dividend, and 70 with which you have to divide smaller number 50. 51 is a 50. How much remainder you are getting? 20 you are getting remainder. So how I can write? 50 into 1 plus 20. Now in HCF what happens is this 20 remainder will becomes divisor. Divisor becomes dividend again for next one. Now here same 50 will be dividend, 20 is the divisor. 20 how many times will go here? 22 is a 40. So here 2 times and 10 remainder. Again same will be repeat. Remainder becomes divisor. Divisor becomes dividend. 10 to the 20. You are getting remainder as 0. So means 20 you have to write here. 10 to the and remainder is 0. So where you got remainder as 0, then the divisor is said to be called as HCF of 50 and 70. So like these sums I have to practice it. Next we will go for, see, in revision maximum you have to concentrate in example sums. Do this and think discuss, because these problems they will give in your public examinations. So all example sums you have to do it. Example 1, example 2. So exercise problems I won't say, because already in previous videos you can see it by going to YouTube channel. You can view again one more time and you can practice it. Otherwise you subscribe them. Then exercise 1.1, every problem I sent in videos. So from exercise 1.1, 100% you will get one problem. Okay, it is 1.1, it is most important problems. So I have to practice each problem 3-4 times. Okay. Next, if you go to next one, the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So what is this fundamental theorem of arithmetic? We should know about it. So it is theorem number 1.2. Theorem 1.1 is division algorithm given here. So already just go through theorem 1.1, it is very important, keep armor for that. Next come to theorem 1.2, it is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The definition is every composite number can be expressed as product of primes and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. So here if anyone asks a composite number, 12 is a composite number. 12 is a composite number. 12, how we can write is, can we write 2 into 6 or not? We can write 2 into 6. This 6, how we can write? 2 into 3. So, after writing like this 12, you can write as 2 into 2 into 3. Means 12 prime factorization is 2 into 2 into 3. This 2 is a prime number, 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. So, any composite number, if you factorize, okay, if you factorize, then what happens is the factorization is unique. So any person has to say the prime factorization is 2 into 2 into 3 only. But some students will say 3 into 2 into 2. Some will say 2 into 3 into 2. All are equal. Means they are not following the order, that's it. But whatever are there, unique means same. So every composite number can be expressed as product of primes and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factor occur. So what you have to do is you have to by heart the theorem statement also. Sometimes they'll ask that define fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So it will give for 2 marks question. If you know problem, you can't get it. Sometimes definitions also will be given in question answers. Sometimes definitions will be given. Theorem 1.2. Next, example 3. So this example 3 is nothing but it is also very important question. What he will give is check whether 4 power n can end with the digit 0 or check whether 6 power n can end with the digit 0. They will change the number 4 power n, 6 power n, 12 power n. This number they will change, but the procedure of these entire problems will be same. So you have to practice example 3, same example 3 and in exercise 1.2 third question. Both are same. So there it is 4 power n and it is here 6 power n. Like these problems you have to do it. And also example number 4. Find LCM and HCF by prime factorization method. So this also we discussed in the classes. If you have any doubt, just once again watch the video. Then we will go for theorem 1.3. So if you hold a textbook, I will read the definition for this theorem 1.3. So it is nothing but let x be a rational number whose decimal form terminates. Then x can be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are co-primes and the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 power n, 5 power n, where n, m are non-negative integers. So try to understand what is this theorem, okay, what he wants to convey for us. So this theorem is saying that let x be a rational number whose decimal form terminates. See 1 by 3 if I written 1, I should divide with 3. So one time also it won't go, so 0 point, I have to keep it here, 3 3 is a 9, 10 minus 9 is 1, again point is there, you can keep 0, 3 3 is a 9 again. So what is happening here is the decimal is not terminating. So decimal form is going on coming, it is repeating, recurring. So if decimal form terminates, what he is asking is if it is 7 by 2, 7, if you divide with 2, 2 3 is a 6, 1 is there, decimal if you keep it, 0 will come, 2 5 is a 10. What happened? You got remainder as 0. If you got remainder as 0, you can say that the decimal terminates. Terminates means it is having end. Here the decimal form is not having any end, it is going on repeating. Here the decimal form is ending. Okay, so if decimal form ends, so this is nothing but a rational number. So wherever if x is a rational number, so you are taking 7 by 2 is a rational number, and if it decimal form terminates, then the denominator will be in the form of 2 power n and 5 power n. 2 power n, 5 power n. Means here 7 by 2, the denominator is 2 power 1 and 5 is not there, means 5 power 0. Any number, its power is 0, its value is 1. So any fraction in denominator if you have in this form, then it is a terminating decimal. Okay. Next we will go for next theorem. By basing this theorem 1.3, down he gave some sort of examples. You have to go through that one. So he given here 3 by 8. Whether it is terminating or not, if you want to see, what you have to do is 3 by 8 can be written as 2 cube. So again what you have to do, 3 into 5 cube by 2 cube into 5 cube, 375 by 10 cube, 0.375. So 0.375 etc. is not there, not repeating. So it is terminating. So it terminates means its denominator will be in the form of 2 power n into 5 power n. Why I multiply denominator and numerator with 5 means it should be in the form of that one. Theorem 1.3 is saying like that. Okay. Next theorem 1.4. It is nothing but let x is equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers and x has a decimal expansion which terminates. Theorem 1.3 and 1.4 are maximum same, given is different, that's it. Here also let x be a rational number. If it is decimal form terminates, he said that denominator will be in the form of 2 power n 5 power n. In theorem 1.4 he is saying that x is a rational number and if denominator is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, then the decimal expansion terminates. There decimal expansion terminates, it is given. In this theorem 1.4 it is required to prove. Okay, result. So next theorem 1.5, let x is equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is not of the form 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative and x has a which is non-terminating repeating. So by basing on theorem 1.3 and 1.4, he is saying theorem 1.5. If denominator is not in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, like 12 is there, some 7 by 12 is there. So 12 contains in prime factorization one more number 3 other than 2 and 5. If denominator is not in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m, only denominator should have either 2s or 5s or both. But other than 2, other than 5, if you see any number, so then its a decimal expansion non-terminates, means it will be going on repeating. Okay. So it is theorem 1.5. So what I mean to say is theorem 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 related to same but somewhat small differences are there, that's it. Okay. Now go through exercise 1.3. Go through exercise 1.3. So in 1.3, fourth question, expressing decimals in the form of p by q is very important. Next, theorem 1.6 is there here. If p be a prime number, if p divides a square, then p divides a. So it is important proof of this theorem. It is also very important one. You have to go through that. Next, we will go for example number 7. So all examples without leaving, you have to do practice. 7, 8, 9, 10 are important here. In exercise 1.4, if you solve all the examples, exercise 1.4 is easy for you. Next, coming to last topic, that is logarithms. Logarithms is very important for your higher studies. So here on page number 21, you have product rule, and in page number 20 also last some bold letters are there. It is the definition of logarithm. In general, small a and capital N are positive real numbers such that a is not equals to 1. We define log n to the base a is equal to x implies a power x is equal to n. It is a defined logarithm means you have to write that one. Next, properties of logarithms. Here you have product rule, quotient rule, next again power rule. These three are there. By using these three, we will have some sort of formulae. So by using this formulae, we can solve all the problems. So here example 11, 12, 13, 14, and don't leave any problem in exercise 1.5. Solve again once more. One more time you have to solve it. Okay. So these are the problems which you have to do. If you listen and if you practice well, then you may get success. So today it is enough. Tomorrow we will go with the second chapter of revision. Okay, thank you.